welcome to today's Scrap Your Scraps video, and I have branding strips and I have tons of them, and I also have some really exciting news. So today I am doing a Scrap Your Scraps video with branding strips, but I also have a whole team of friends from my Scrap Your Scraps Facebook group who are also using their scraps, and they're also making videos and blogs. So today is a video blog hop, a Scrap Your Scraps video blog hop, and what I want to encourage you all to do is, after you watch my video, check out the description below the video and hop on to the next video or blog, and then from that one continue hopping so that you can get a ton of inspiration for how you can use your branding strips, because you know we have a lot because they just come off, and what are we gonna do with them? So after watching my video, go check out the next stop on the hop. So, I have a whole bunch of branding strips today. Most of them come from Felicity Jane kits. Actually, all of them do except for this one here, which was from a crepe paper, but I like the color, so I'm going to use that. So I have a ton of branding strips, and they're all the same size because I checked. I also have this mint chevron green piece of cardstock, and I'm going to use these branding strips and this paper. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take these branding strips and I am going to trim them, and I'm going to do this off screen because this will take a little while. But what I'm going to do, hopefully you guys can see this, is I am going to trim these branding strips to 2 inches, and I'm going to trim all of these branding strips to 2 inches so that I have a whole bunch of 2-inch pieces of paper. And after I'm done that, I will check back in with you. So I'll be right back.
Okay, so I cut all of those branding strips into 2-inch strips, and now I'm gonna glue them down to my page. So what I decided to do was glue them down to this mint bluish green paper and leave little gaps. I think I left like a 1/4 of an inch gap in between them, and to be honest, I didn't do the greatest job at this. Like, it wasn't perfect, but you know what, when the layout is all said and done, I actually really like the way that it looks, so I'm kind of happy with it. So, and I just sort of offset the 1-inch strips that I did. And I think the reason that it wasn't perfect was because I kind of mixed it up somewhere along the way, but that's okay. It gives you an idea of what you can do with branding strips, something a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the whole entire background like this with these branding strips, and don't worry, I don't make you sit through the whole entire thing. I just wanted to show you a little bit about how I was doing it, and then when I'm done, I'm going to walk you through how I embellish and make this page actually work. So as you can see, I have the whole entire background done, and I actually came back another day, well, like a week later, to finish this because I was running out the door when I first made it. That's why my nails look different, if you noticed that. And I grabbed a photo of some cookies that I had baked, and that's what I decided to scrapbook on this page. So I felt like the background was super busy, so I was trying to figure out a way to calm it down a little bit. So I decided to use this like scrap, it's also a scrap piece of pink paper, one of my Felicity Jane papers that I had ripped off for another project. So I thought, well, this is a Scrap Your Scraps page. I'm using branding strips, but I can also use some other scraps. So I'm using that ripped off piece to put along the left hand side, and then I'm also going to put a piece of it on the right hand side along with some other little pieces of scraps. So look at that, you got more scraps than you thought you were going to get with this layout. So I used the branding strips to make that like funky cool background, and then I'm using the bigger pieces of pink scrap paper to sort of calm down the page a little bit so that there's somewhere for your eye to rest a little bit. So what I wanted to say was, you could do that branding strip thing on the background and just use that as your background, but it is really busy. So that's why I use the branding, use that pink piece as well to just sort of calm it down. And the other thing I was thinking of is I probably didn't need to use branding strips over the whole entire background because I ended up covering up about a third of it. But, you know, lesson learned. And, I mean, they're scrap papers, right? So they were just sitting there taking up space, so it's not a big deal. So it sort of creates like a funky, cool background design idea. So after I was done, I'm just going to put a couple of pieces on that one side as well and just trim off the excess. Just felt like I wanted a little something extra over in that one corner. So I'm going to use a doily to sort of create like a placemat almost for my photo. And I'm also using this craft envelope that came in the Felicity Jane Tuesday kit maybe, and that's where I'm going to put some journaling. I'm also going to be putting journaling on that left hand side. And so what I decided I wanted to do was do some journaling about these cookies, but then also include the recipe on the layout, because I just think that's so fun to look at scrapbook pages and then have recipes on them. So these are my famous Snickerdoodles. They're one of my favorite cookies, and I love making them. I make them all the time. They're my favorite, and they're sort of like a family recipe. So that's what I'm going to put in that craft envelope, and then on the left hand side I'm going to journal about how much I love these cookies and how I remember my grandma making them and my mom making them, and how everybody just falls in love with them like I do. So now I'm making you all hungry, so if you would like to see the recipe for the Snickerdoodle layout, I will post it on my Facebook page. Yep, I'm going to post it on my Facebook group, Scrap Your Scraps. So if you want to join us over there after the video blog hop, you can come and check out the Snickerdoodle recipe. And I just want to really encourage you to hop on after you watch this layout to the next layout too, because there are some really cool girls who have awesome blog/videos for us to see, and I'm excited for it. Now, I unfortunately didn't realize that my camera had stopped filming, so I missed a little bit of this. So what I did was I put the title Snickerdoodle along the right hand side. I added some journaling to the top left hand, and then I added some of those cork hearts, a couple of enamel dots, added a few staples here and there just to make it look cohesive, because I had staples on one side. And I like to use things in threes or in multiple places, so I've got like 3 cork hearts, or I got, yep, 3 cork hearts, clusters of enamel dots and everything, and it looks great. So I'm sorry I didn't film it all, but it gives you a good idea of how I made this layout and a great idea for how to use your branding strips. So I finished off the layout by adding a few of those gold Dear Lizzie thicker asterisks on the top, and that's it. The layout is done. Thanks guys for joining me, and hop along.